This section is 3-4 perpendicular lines. Our first vocab word is perpendicular bisector. A perpendicular bisector creates a right angle. It could create more than one right angle, so it could go up to 4 right angles. And it has 2 congruent segments. These tick marks show that these segments are congruent, but even if those aren't there and this is a perpendicular bisector, we know that these segments must be congruent. So distance from a point to line is defined as the shortest segment being perpendicular. So there'll be 2 things you're asked to do on the next quiz. You'll have to tell me the shortest segment from point P to line AC. I've highlighted my 3 options in green there for you. And it has to be PB because that's the one that is perpendicular. So it makes it that it's PB. You also have to write an inequality and solve for x. Well, since PB is the shortest, then 5 has to be less than x plus 3. Or you can keep the variable on the left and write x plus 3 is greater than 5. And you would just solve that by subtracting from 3 from both sides. We end up with x is greater than 2. So here are the 3 theorems related to perpendicular lines. The first one states that if we have a line 180 degrees and the 2 angles are congruent, they must each be 90, so therefore these are perpendicular because they're forming right angles. So L is perpendicular to M. So if you have this, then you have L perpendicular to M. In our second theorem, which actually has a name, perpendicular transversal theorem, this one says if the lines are parallel and one of the angles is a right angle, then the other one is also a right angle. So line Q is perpendicular to line P. And in the third theorem, we don't have that the lines are parallel yet, but we do know that each one is perpendicular. So now that we know that, we can prove that the lines are parallel. These theorems don't need to be memorized. They will be given to you on the quiz, but you should be able to recognize which problem would fit into each theorem.